Blessings, my love, and we honor the divine cross-quarter day of Imbolc in the belly of our winter, within and without, in the northern hemisphere, and an incredible numerological expansion of the quadruple 2 energy pouring down on Earth at this time. We live in a multi-dimensional reality. We are awakening to our spiritual beingness, and every day is an opportunity to grow. Every day is an opportunity to expand, to remember, and to confront all of the ways that you have been willfully ignoring the truth of who you are. My awakening journey began in late 2011, and all this time later, I am still consistently and constantly awakening to new truths, new awarenesses, new discomforts, new pains, new self-evasions. And so we are always awakening. We are always opening our eyes. We are always guiding ourselves to not go back to sleep. As much as we want to ignore the pain and ignore the fear and ignore the distrust and ignore the disgust within ourselves, we have to have that will to continuously awaken, continuously have the courage to look deeper, dig deeper, nourish and nurture and purify in spite of it all. And your privilege is your ability to have the senses to receive these messages, to make different decisions, to make the changes that you know that you need to make in your life. It is a privilege to do that. If you have the privilege to make changes in your life and you refuse to do that, there's a lot of chaos that is coming into your field at this time. The physical chaos that's going on inside of you, your mental and emotional chaos, your deep, dark, seated depression that is consuming you at this time is part of your awakening. It is this rock bottom, down on the earth, into the dirt, awaiting your connection to life and nature and the earth goddess and your body, and remembering you're so much more than you believe yourself to be. During my awakening process, especially through about 2011 to 2014, numbers were some of my greatest guides, greatest friends, the greatest beings I could have ever imagined. And we live in a vibrational existence, and every number holds a different vibration. Every combination of numbers holds a different vibration, and that is a language beyond your understanding at this time, but it is always trying to reach you. And so repetitive number sequences is one way that the higher soul self tries to get in touch with the human meat brain to grow beyond the stagnation of economic slavery and your disconnection and your willful sleepiness. You're an incredible being awakening into multi-dimensions at this time. There is a lot of confusion, a lot of distortion, and many, 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 many lies that you've bought into for many, many, many lives. And this is the life that we get to reclaim all of the fragments and all of the lost aspects of ourselves. And it is very, very overwhelming to many. And if you're not overwhelmed by the awareness of yourself as spirit embodied, there is a disconnect happening. It's very beautiful and very expansive and very heart-touching and soul-touching, but truth be told, like, being a human being at this time is fucking unbearable for most of us. And if it isn't, you're divinely privileged. And if it isn't unbearable for you and you're living a life and just like having the best time and you refuse to look at the pain of others, that is in itself one of the greatest privileges that you have been born into. And it is all of our duty to awaken to the grief of this world and to the grief of the indigenous humans of this world, and the misogyny and the slavery and the ingrained self-destruction is what we have to awaken to. Like, that is the biggest pain that we have to hold space for. And the power of the 2-2-2-2 that moves through us on this day, a rare Gregorian calendar alignment that affects us all. We all are living in this man-made solar calendar, and so we follow the solar precession of the sun as a means to reconnect to ourselves as connected to the sun, as children of the light, children of the sun, infinitely powerful, infinitely connected to every last sentient life on this planet. Every mineral, every bug, every animal, every thought that ever was is accessible through you. And it is impossible to remember your connection to life if you refuse to connect to your life. And if you continue to ignore yourself, continue to ignore your emotions, your mental processes, your physical pain perception intentions, if you continue to willfully ignore and just work, doing bullshit that means nothing to you, you will never awaken, and you will never know the full majesty of the truth of who you are as spirit embodied. The power of two moves through you. The power of two to remind you that you are part of a dualism, part of duality, part of the balance of all, and that your self-nurturing and self-care benefits all life on this planet. Your nourishing and nurturing and purification of who you are, what you believe yourself to be, exploring your inner truths, exploring the lies that you've been fed, exploring the lies that you continue to tell yourself about yourself. This is your awakening. This is your purpose. This is what we have come to do. And so many of us are in places with people, in jobs, in cities, in lives that we cannot fucking fathom anymore. We cannot handle anymore. And we have the strength and we have the courage and we have the ability to make changes. And it's fucking terrifying. I have done some of the most terrifying acts of my life in the last 8 years of my life. And I've done some very difficult things in the earlier part of my life before I started awakening. So to make this deep rooted intention, those leaps of faith, those I'm going to trust this part of myself that's urging me to say the thing, to make the move, to cut the cord, to move the fuck on from family members, from jobs, from people that I thought were my friends, from lovers. Like, we are all being asked to make better decisions for our lives, the decisions that help us grow, the decisions that help us evolve. And those are sometimes the hardest lessons that we have to make. And when we're in the belly of our winter, that cross-quarter day between our winter and spring, the sacred geometric alignment that moves through us all. We are living in a vibratory mathematical matrix of expansion and potential. And our solar system is this incredible sacred geometric circle, and the sun follows this procession through this beautiful, incredible circle of powerful constellations. The zodiac are some of our most ancient guides, and they hold these memories and patterns and archetypical energies that are so powerful and affect our lives every single day. And when you start to really intentionally desire to connect, who am I in relation to this energy? Who am I in relation to this light? Who am I in relation to nature? What am I? Who am I? Where am I? How did I get here? Where am I going? What are we doing here? Ask yourself these questions every single day. Neil Donald Walsh is one of the most amazing teachers of my awakening journey, just helping to understand these conversations of God, conversations with God that we have every single day. God as I am, Goddess as I am, connected to Source as I am. I am not separate from the zodiac. I am not separate from my heart and soul. I am not separate from the higher soul self that is connected to the central sun. And all of the powers within us, all of the power is here, and it's always accessible, and we can speak to so many different energetic lines, and we can call the energy in. And the demon that has been implanted within all of us is the terror and the fear of our own power and our own body. If anyone has ever told you that yoga and meditation and sexuality and masturbation and connecting to your body is evil, You have to unwind out of indoctrination. And I was raised Roman Catholic by birth. I was indoctrinated into a very destructive mindset, and I have struggled with body dysmorphia and self-harm and addiction, alcoholism, overworking, all of these horrible ways that I was funneling my energy into distraction from pain, distraction from this deep disconnection from my heart and soul and body. And my awakening journey has been a consistent, intentional desire to no longer harm and evade myself, and to consistently show up to myself every single day, offering myself deep compassion, compassion that washes over all guilt and shame. Guilt and shame are deep demons of the mind. Anything that's inside of your mind that tries to hurt you is a demon that somebody else put there. It's not this fucking shadow with just like a monster that we've been shown in horror, but really the horror of the mind, and who created this mind and who has stolen the purity from me. I have access to my inner being, my inner power, my inner light. It's just hidden under all these fucking lies. And so the power of Imbolc, the power of the 2222, move through thee, move into thee, open wider, call the power of the light of the two into me. I ask for all understanding to move through me, and I hold equanimity inside of me. Ooh, I totally botched that. I open all equanimity into me. I open all equality into me. I ask for the power of the divine feminine and the power of the divine masculine to open into me. I am my own twin flame. The power of romance, the power of pain, how it has broken us open, and to realize that I am my own lover, I am my own mother, I am my own father, I am my own teacher, I am my own guru. There is no other search but within, and I go within. The twin flame psyop that makes you chase people that aren't for you, that somebody is turned away from you. They are not to be chased. If somebody refuses to hold space for you and honor you, they are not to be chased. The twin flame awakening is for you to remember that your wholeness exists within thee. Your feminine ideals of nourishing and nurturing and opening and exploring and holding the space, becoming the deepest part of my own gratitude. And my masculine is my protector and my initiator and my desire to honor and protect my own self and to give myself the rest that I require, the rest and the honor, and to stop and to be and to remember yourself. Ceremony and ritual belong to us every day. You need to learn to remember your voice, to speak your truth, to explore your voice, to explore your body, to explore every emotion as a spiritual practice forevermore. And the part of the mind that wants to know when is this going to be over, it's never over. It just transforms. The energy transforms, and the grief shifts, and the shame shifts, and the pain shifts, and the light comes through, and you shine your light into all your dark corners. And when it's a really, really, really hard, difficult, dark day, you give yourself the most love on those days. And when it's a beautiful, light-filled, simpler, easier day, you rest and you give thanks and you remember and you serve and you give your light and you give your love to others. But you know your boundaries and you know your limits, and you have a strong voice that honors the self and knows when it's time that I need to rest and recuperate. We've been taught to work without ever realizing that I'm not a fucking robot, and I'm not a fucking machine, and I didn't come here to pay bills until I die, and I will transform this painful, goddamn fucking curse that has been given to us. I will no longer stranglehold myself with economic slavery. I realize that I have to transform in the system. I can't just pretend like the system can change overnight. And so I will remain in the system while I continuously nourish and nurture parts of myself that need the light. bringing the light into every situation, shining my light into all the dark corners, having faith that the light is always here. There are always unknown blessings, always on their way to us. So not giving up, not giving up. Don't give up on the darkest days. Self-care and self-nourishment is the greatest gift that we can give ourselves. And it's really hard when we've been hurting ourselves for so long. But the power of the two, and the power of your in the belly of your own winter is for you to look at all the ways that you refuse to honor yourself and all the ways that you refuse to see yourself as divine on earth. My heart and soul speaks through me every single day and gives me the strength and the courage to continue to show up and continue to grow and to continue to show my light, while I also hold space for my exhaustion and my deep grief and the pain that makes it very difficult to leave the house sometimes. I have very high functioning post-traumatic stress disorder, and the high function of my PTSD is the privilege that I bring forth. So many people cannot speak in their pain and their trauma. And so I know that part of my healing and part of my growth and part of my evolution is the deep vulnerability to share the journey, share the light, share the life. My page has been on lockdown for the last week. All of my sharing privileges have been revoked by Instagram because some psychopathic person went through a cascade album of my birthday photos that were tastefully taken. It was a tradition that I've had for many years where I take naked photos in nature on my birthday to celebrate my connection to the earth. It had another image on top of it that was a quote, so there was no reason why anyone needed to go in there and say that I was violating community guidelines. And so when my art is hidden from me and I don't get to share the way that I feel I desire to and deserve to, it makes me want to hide away and shut down, which is what I did for about a week. But it's like, I know that we are continuously expanding and evolving in spite of all the pain and in spite of all the hate and in spite of really the misogyny and the degradation of the human body, where we see naked bodies and we automatically are offended and disgusted because pornography has consumed our minds. Sacred sexuality, reconnecting to the earth, and honoring and purifying our physical bodies is the ways that we combat this psychosis. Pornography is a psychosis. It's like a fucking minuscule 1% fraction of the power of sexuality and the creativity that we bring to this life. And so we are reclaiming our humanity. This is our awakening. We are reclaiming our humanity and our spiritual natures by nature, by reconnecting nature, by reconnecting to the power of vibration, by reconnecting to the wheel of the year and the solar precession of the sun through the zodiac and all of these cycles: life, death, rebirth, honoring winter, honoring the season change, honoring the season, honoring the season. And how do you want to connect to your life on this day and every day? Your self-care is the art that you bring forth into this life. And I'm here with you, always walking with you. If you'd like to learn more about who you are by nature, click the link in my bio or visit www.boundariesarebeautiful.com. I love you, my angel. I am with you. I am you. There is no separation. You are remembering. You understand the words and the vibrations that are coming out of my mouth hole through the vibration of these vocal cords. But where does this voice come from? Where does the thought come from? Where does the resonance of truth come from that's flowing through you at this time? Ask yourself the deepest, darkest questions every single day. Be there for yourself. Honor yourself. And let yourself be that power of the two. The power of the one and the two within me. I am with you. I am you. I love you.